Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Mr. M.J. Khan. He's Chairman and President at the India Chamber of Food and Agriculture. Mr. Khan, hi, thank you for joining us. First things first, and the street is anticipating the Kharif MSP to be announced pretty soon. I mean, the street has been waiting for the new government to come in. I'll come to that in a bit, but what's your sense on the MSP? Because the street also expect that we could be looking at an 8 to 10% of an increase in MSP when it comes to some of these pulses.
I think it has got to be there because the government's first priority will be to reduce dependence on imports. Therefore, consistent increase in MSP till the time that domestic production catches up and reduces the gap of the demand and supply. So therefore, reducing the dependence on the imports. So I believe that 8 to 10% is very logical expectation and I think realistic. And therefore, we should look forward to that.
Mr. Khan, also, as the street is awaiting and working with the sense that we're looking at a coalition government, and I spoke to you earlier as well on what are the kind of agri reforms that we could see going forward. Does anything change with the kind of coalition government we are working with, and where do you see a major thrust now coming in when you look at this sector?
I think there will be greater push to the agriculture reforms and overall agriculture agenda. The reason is very simple, that all the allies that are likely to be on board are focused on farmers. So they have their constituency more in rural areas, including Chandrababu Naidu, whose focus used to be urban and IT and services sector till the capital was in Hyderabad. Once he moved to Amravati, which means his last chief minister's period, and now that will start very clearly today. In fact, he's in Delhi. I'm likely to meet him also. Nitish Kumar also. So all the allies and the smaller allies also, I think they are all, quite a bit focused on rural vote bank and sensitized about the needs of the agriculture. But BJP itself will be more committed because this time BJP got lesser votes from the rural areas compared to the urban areas. So therefore, slightly more tilt to focusing on farmers' issues and agenda, and therefore the agri-related reforms. So whatever can make good for agriculture and farmers' incomes, I think coalition government will be focused more on that.
Within this as well, Mr. Khan, where do you see a major thrust coming in? Is it going to be about the legality of MSP, minimum guarantee price, or do you think crop diversification? We've seen a lot of missions being introduced by the BJP government as well. And then there is this talk about sustainability, technology, and more farmer-centric rather than agri-centric. Where do you see a major push?
I think having burnt its fingers in the agri reforms, 3 bills that were brought, and therefore going into that legalities and that part, probably party may be avoiding, but increasing the investment and getting the reforms done through the states. Model code is likely to be circulated on marketing reforms, which means states to be encouraged to adopt that instead of centrally sponsored any reforms in agriculture, which we faced, crisis kind of situation for almost a year and more, and even now partly. So therefore, this is one part of it, that model reforms act to be circulated to the states. This is a quite a strong possibility, broadly containing all that was introduced 3 years back. But then increasing the investment in the post-harvest infrastructure, value addition, agri-businesses, market developments and trade and so on. So this is the second part of it. And third is, of course, the production side of it, because this climate change related issues, so therefore sustainability of agriculture. So little more investment on climate resilient agriculture's production system. But equally important is that pulses, where we are importing about 5 million tons and the oil seed about 10 million tons plus. So I think how to reduce that. And there were a couple of missions launched on that. It is possible that CSR spending of the corporates, what we saw, Tata Trust making 5 crores contribution to the Indian Institute of Pulses Research, it is more encouragement of the PSUs to increase their spending on agriculture research. That is also quite possible. So while on the production side, these 2 crops will be focused, but overall the sustainability of the agriculture production system in light of the context of the climate change, that has got a greater agenda. And third is ideological, which is organic farming, natural farming, which this government has been wedded to. Last 8 years' time, we saw a lot of thrust given. But most important is, of course, increasing the role of corporates in agriculture, post-production set of activities, with the three bills we do. So through the route of states, probably this is going to be possible.
Fair point on that, Mr. Khan. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, that's the detailed of what we can expect in sense of agriculture reforms from the new government that would be sworn in pretty soon. As he said, the coalition governments or the new states that are coming in now have a thrust in any case in sense of rural India. And that's exactly where the voting share also has been lower. So there could be some more reforms coming in that direction, especially when it comes to farmers' welfare. We'll, of course, watch out for that. But with that, that's all the time that we have on Halftime Report. Business Lunch will take all the action forward.